Live from the Clairvoyant 2100, it's the Archbishops Update.
Brought to you by Forward Movement and the Purple Vestments in your parish church.
I'm John Chrysostom.
And I'm Thomas Granma. Lent Madness continues as we begin week 1, the first full week of Lent Madness.
Last week in the opening contest, we saw Basil the Great rebuff Christina the Astonishing.
On Friday, we saw Charles Henry Brent get thrashed by Juliet Chester Emery and the forces of the Episcopal Church women.
And on Saturday, Alcuin vanquished Ephraim of Edessa.
Now begins week 1 of Lent Madness. We call it week 1 because it is the first full week of Lent Madness.
Let's go to the board.
Competition for the week opens with Joseph of Arimathea taking on Anna Cooper.
In the Gospels, Joseph was the man who approached Pontius Pilate for the body of our Lord and buried him in his tomb,
while Anna was an educator and advocate for the neglected in society. It seems to me that Anna has this locked in.
How so, Thomas?
Lent Madness voters love to go for saints like her. Besides, like a certain American political figure, she has one parent of European descent and the other of African.
Thomas, I don't think that President Obama is aware of Lent Madness. Besides, I think Joseph has the advantage here.
How so, John?
Without Joseph, there can be no Easter. It is he alone who came to retrieve our Lord's lifeless body and bury him. In doing so, that made him ritually unclean for the Passover.
I never thought of that.
Besides, he is also the patron saint of those in the funeral industry.
Tuesday will showcase the Battle of Egypt.
That's right, Thomas. Antony of Egypt will take on Mary of Egypt.
Antony is acclaimed founder of Christian monasticism and a combatant of the Arian heresy,
while Mary was a harlot and prostitute who repented of her vile ways. I am going to shock you, Thomas, and pick Mary as the likely victor.
Huh? You still I won. Well, I think Antony has what it takes to come out on top.
Wednesday brings us a matchup between David of Wales, the 6th century Welsh bishop and abbot.
Right you are, John. He'll be facing F.D. Maurice, arguably the founder of Christian socialism in the 19th century.
I think that David will have the edge in this contest, Thomas.
I am sorry, John, but I think Maurice will win out in this one.
On Thursday, we will see James Holly take on Harriet Beecher Stowe.
Holly was an American-born missionary bishop to Haiti during the 19th century,
while Stowe was an American abolitionist and author of the famous anti-slavery book, Uncle Tom's Cabin.
John, I can assure you that I am not the title Uncle Tom.
My money will be on Stowe. She helped change a lot of attitudes toward slavery.
Very true, John. However, I think Holly's work in the church will bring him out on top. That brings us to the last contest of the week on Friday.
That's right, Thomas. Sparing for glory will be Alfred the Great, the 9th century king, who was able to unite England under a single kingdom.
Absolutely, John. However, if he wants to move forward, he'll have to overcome the likes of Johann Sebastian Bach, the 18th century German composer. But my money would be on Alfred.
Backing your fellow Englishman, Thomas.
Of course, John. I think that Alfred will prevail. Besides, he is great.
Oh, I don't know, Thomas. I think the advantage will be with his opponent.
Really? You don't think he will be advancing instead of Alfred?
Of course, Thomas. He'll be back.
Cheeky, John. Very cheeky.
Besides, all the Lutherans who follow Lent Madness will be voting for him.
That is a good point, John.
Let's answer some questions, Thomas. How about this one from Marguerite? I like her a lot.
Good day, Archbishops. My question is, which human activity do the saints find more fascinating, and why? Sports or politics?
Well, that's a tough one, Marguerite, because everyone is different, even the saints. However, I would say that, for the most part, politics makes us up here cringe. Won't you agree, Thomas?
I would agree, John. That is why it is very important for you to pray for your political leaders and those in authority, as St. Paul said. How about this one for you, John, from some really long usernames.
So, JC, what's your opinion of all these priests ripping off your Paschal homily during the vigil? Well then, I am actually a little bit flattered.
I'm usually very thankful when someone recycles one of our old homilies. It shows the apostolic nature of the church.
Let's try to do this three-parter from Paladin Vader. Dear gnarly and audacious Archbishops, I have these questions. 3. What would the saints give up for Lent if they needed or wanted to? I would give up the meal of the day to the poor.
I don't know, but it wouldn't be this weird. If you two could pick one additional saint to join you, or if one or both of you were to be added to Lent Madness 2015, who would you each pick to add and or replace you?
That's a good question. However, we are in negotiations right now with the Supreme Executive Committee.
Because of that we can comment on that in our videos. Let's just say we are happy to be here.
This last one is for you, Thomas. Do you think a revitalized use of the cantor cap is in order?
He must mean an Oxford cap, and yes, I am not a fan of those Italian hinges with a tassel on them.
Thanks for the questions. All 3 of you have been entered into our contest for a Lent Madness coffee mug.
However, you and any other member of the Lent Madness voting public can still enter this week. Some conditions apply. Enter by submitting us a question.
We will be returning next Sunday morning. But until then,
remember to go to lentmadness.org
and vote for your favorite saint.